A major Twitter investor endorses Jack Dorsey as CEO. Apple.com does away with its store domain. Google Maps adds a night mode for iOS, and more. It's Friday, August 7th, and this is Crunch Report. One of Twitter's earliest investors, and now somewhat of an activist investor, Chris Sacca, wants you to know who he thinks should be Twitter's next CEO. In a tweet storm today, a tweet storm means a series of tweets that read together and make up a single cohesive thought, but because of Twitter's 140-character limit, they have to be broken up. Anyway, that's a tweet storm. Essentially, Sacca says that Jack Dorsey should be the permanent CEO, not just the interim CEO, which he currently is. Specifically, he tweets, Twitter should name Jack as full-time CEO and promote Adam Bain to president and COO. Ev should become the executive chairman of the board. Now, Twitter's previous CEO, Dick Costolo, left the company in July after announcing his departure back in June. As for Adam Bain, who currently heads up revenue and partnerships and has been tapped by many as the next logical CEO, at least in their minds, Sacca tweets, anyone paying attention knows Adam Bain is one of the best operators in business today. His day-to-day leadership will be invaluable, just not as CEO. During the last earnings call for the company, Twitter execs gave no updates on how the search for a permanent CEO is going. And along with the company's lack of user growth over the last quarter, investors are more or less freaked out. Also, Jack Dorsey is still the CEO of Square, a company that he founded and has run since 2009, which is rumored to be going public sometime this year. Kind of throws a wrench in things. Sources tell Bloomberg that advisors for Square's IPO already are making preparations just in case Dorsey leaves for Twitter full-time. Are you doing anything on September 9th? Because that's when Apple's holding its annual iPhone event, or so says BuzzFeed. What's potentially interesting is the possibility that Apple will also announce an iPad Pro. Historically, iPads have their own event, and a new Apple TV as well. But focusing back on the iPhone for a minute, for the first time earlier this year, Apple allowed public beta testing for iOS 9 along with developers. So you and I and a lot of other people now have their hands on the latest release of iOS 9 Public Beta 3, or at least we can, which includes things like Wi-Fi calling support for AT&T, CarPlay enhancements, new wallpapers for people who like wallpapers, keyboard changes, and Wi-Fi Assist. Wi-Fi Assist automatically switches the iPhone to a cell connection when the Wi-Fi connection is weak, which is great for all those times I leave my apartment and then my phone clings to my home Wi-Fi for the better part of a block and renders my phone unusable. Yes! By the way, if you haven't seen the iOS 9 public beta update yet, it should hit your phone soon. Rollouts, am I right? Google Maps wants you to navigate better at night, and its latest iOS update has a new feature called Night Mode, which lets you choose a darker display over the bright white one that you're probably used to using. This has been a feature in the Android version for a while, not surprisingly. So the idea is that this could improve your night vision and make it easier on your eyes, especially sitting in a dark car, on a dark road, on your way to Camp Crystal Lake. This might seem like a trivial feature, but for drivers who use Google Maps instead of an in-dash navigational system, and there are a lot of those people, I am one of them, this is actually safer, at least in theory. The feature is also automatic. You don't have to switch it on and off yourself. Instead, night mode will only activate when it's actually nighttime, not just when it's dark. It's truly night mode. It's also only available in turn-by-turn navigation mode, not the default Maps interface. The Google Maps update also includes the ability to label places, lets you edit the captions of photos you've uploaded to Google Maps, and a few other goodies. Apple.com got redesigned, everybody. How do you feel about that? You might not care, but allow me to explain why the Apple faithful freaked out yesterday. The Store tab and the store.apple.com domain no longer exist. The buying experience is now just part of the site, with buy buttons and options for products available on every product page, which is actually probably a lot better for impulse buying. No need to switch over to the store to complete a purchase or remember that you wanted something later. Now each landing page for each product has a sub-browsing experience that lets you pick a particular model to mull over. Accessories get their own browsing experience as well, and a new shopping bag replaces the old shopping cart and is always there, reminding you of what you should buy. This UX change is significant when you consider that more than 1 billion customers in 40 countries visit Apple's store every year, and raises some questions about how Apple will deal with the new design when it releases new products. You might remember in the past, the entire store would go down until the products launch. TechCrunch's Matthew Panzerino points out that this is probably at least in part a mobile thing. If Apple makes it easier to buy big-ticket items on phones and tablets with a persistent store that's everywhere, they will likely sell more. Have you seen Time Magazine's latest cover? The one that highlights virtual reality, featuring Oculus Rift founder Palmer Luckey, barefoot and sort of floating and generally looking pretty uncool. And God, why did anybody put this photo on a magazine cover? They should be fired. And what does this say about VR in general? Remember Google Glass's image problem? TechCrunch's John Biggs wonders how this whole VR thing is really going to shake out in a post he titled, "Yuck it up, humanity, because VR is going to make things really weird." Very well said, Biggs. For example, when Valve releases Half-Life 3 in VR and people sort of drop off the face of the earth for weeks at a time. Might happen, right? Might happen to you. VR devices don't really do well in public after all. They aren't augmented reality, they replace reality, and will all probably look like that Time magazine cover sooner or later. Or at the very least, our children will. The world is about to change again, and we're all gonna sound really old when we say, "I remember when Angry Birds was just this game you played on an iPad." Mark my words. That's a report for today and the week. I'm Sarah Lane. Crunch Report airs Monday through Friday at 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific, right here on TechCrunch.com. Have a great weekend.